All right, so the cool here is with Lenny from Lenny. How you doing, boss?
Good. How are you doing?
Good, man. So congratulations on that new album.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
So I want you to say it 5 times fast for me, okay? Sympathetic antipathy.
Yep, with the sympathetic antipathy. Oh yeah, I was surprised that the label let that one go. I was expecting the big thumbs down for that one. Like, no, too much. But actually, Morgan liked it, and the band dug it. So a little existential reference.
Yeah, right. You know, it's funny is I'm wondering how many people are going to have to sit there and Google the words to see what the hell that means.
Oh yeah. There's going to be like a spike in people looking up existentialism and Danish philosophers and stuff.
So I've seen this album was a long time coming. You know, you guys released some singles a while back, and finally putting it out has to be pretty cool.
Yeah, because we started it as just a session that we were just doing a song. My mom had just passed away, and Morgan wasn't doing much at the time, like a little downtime, you know what I mean? And Corey Lowry's studio was available, so we just did a song, and then it turned into another song and another, and then before you know it, we're like, well, let's just make this a thing already since we're doing it. Let's flying out to Atlanta at least once a month. So it's like, why don't we actually do something with this and make it, a thing? And then that's why we never made a title, and then eventually just called it Lenny, just because we kept saying, hey, what are we doing today? Oh, thing with Lenny, the Lenny Project or whatever. I didn't want to call it the Lenny Project. Like we were just talking about, I differentiate with Lenny with a Y is me, Lenny with an E is the band.
Right. So, I would have to say the lockdown for you was almost a blessing in disguise then. I mean, you wouldn't be able to work with some of the people that you did if they didn't have that downtime.
Yeah, this was supposed to come out right as the lockdown happened, actually. So it was kind of a blessing. We had an extra 2 years or so to dig a bit deeper into it, move around some studios, and some people that might not have been available, like you said, because there was a time where everybody was looking for work. So I'm sure you know very well, like it was a weird time where, especially artists and stuff, where it was like suddenly you didn't know what to do with yourself. So people were kind of jumping on the opportunity to get on new projects and stuff like that. So that's, in that sense, totally. And I like that we actually sat on it for a little bit longer. I'm really happy with the final production of everything and everybody who was involved. Totally.
So it definitely had been a weird process, though. I mean, like I said, you guys put out singles. I mean, I watched the video from like 10 months ago or something like that. So to watch it go through all that time to finally having it out now, it's got to be crazy.
Totally. Oh yeah, we expected it to be video, then another video, a couple of months another, and now instead video. And almost a year later, we were going to do another single. And then Imagine, the label was like, you know what, let's just get the whole EP out there so people have something to chew on right now, because right now people want to listen to music, and attention spans can be short. So instead of doing one at a time, let's just give a handful of songs and run with it for a little while. So I was excited about that. And like I said, after like working on them for a couple of years, to finally get it out there is really cool. And I love hearing the feedback and everything. I mean, I'm sensitive, so don't be too harsh. but so far, actually, we've had really great feedback, and Morgan Rose is a big part of it, helped write it all, produce it all, play drums on all of it. So it was a, awesome experience overall. So excited to get it out there finally.
It's just crazy how the music industry went from doing the singles, like you said, and then now they're like, let's put these albums out. Fuck that single bullshit now. Let's start getting things going.
Totally. Even our like promotional type of stuff, we're told, hey, instead of like the old, promoting it 2-3 months in advance, it's like wait till the week before, because people might forget these. Like these days, it really is like you want it now. People want things right now, even their music. So we're trying our best to go along with that. And plus, we want to share our stuff. We don't like to sit on music. We don't write and record music to keep it secret. So for us to get the go ahead to just let it all out, that's cool. And lining up shows and everything, and things are finally opening up, but it's still weird. It's still not like back to the way it was.
Yeah, 100%, man. I went to my first show in almost 2 years on Saturday. I went to see Foghat, and it was it was weird, man. You know what I mean? It was just not putting my mask on, and even sitting around people again,
Totally. Oh yeah, when you're allowed to like go in a place right now without the mask and everything, and you're like, am I allowed to do this? It feels weird. And should I? And I mean, everybody's got different feelings on what went down, what still is going down. it's just like always. I mean, I guess for being a traveling musician and stuff, you're used to like being aware of germs and everything anyway. So it's not that ridiculous for us to like think you got to be extra careful, you know, with all that. So, but the whole mask thing is kind of wild to finally like be going to restaurants or concerts and not wearing it. Like, oh my god.
Right, right. I mean, last night I took my kid to Monday Night Raw for WWE, and there's, I don't know, 30,000 people or something like that in
Wow.
the place, and I'm having a good time. It's been the first time we went in years, things been back open and stuff, and just went through my head like, one of these motherfuckers is sick. It's just gonna like we're all fucking dead. You know what I mean? I'm like,
Right. It's it is one of those. I mean, you can't help but think about that, back of your head. You're like, man, if just one of these people are real sick, but that's the case forever. I mean, anytime. I mean,
yeah,
I mean, how many times you're in a sweaty mosh pit? Well, not anymore. I mean, in the old days, in a sweaty ass mosh pit with God knows who's got what kind of hygiene. And then, I mean, but I guess we got through that somehow without getting COVID. I don't know, or maybe somehow, who knows? Times are crazy, right? Times are strange.
Yeah, for sure.
That's why
Yeah,
music's important.
it just goes to show you, I mean, it'll people are starting to overcome their fears, and I mean, that's just what a fucked up mindset we've all been for all those years. Of, you know what I mean?
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, it's very interesting, going from before to now. It's never going to be the same. It's just it's such a strange. Everything is still weird.
Yeah, for sure. I
And
mean,
depending where you come from too. I mean, New York. New York has been a crazy situation from day one, like most places, but and just rolled with it, personally, didn't leave or anything like that, just kind of buckled down and did what we had to do to get through it. And here you are now. Inflation is happening. God, what are we talking about here?
What part of New York are you in?
Well, I'm on Staten Island.
In Buffalo.
Buffalo?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, we were in Buffalo in December, back in November, December, we were up in Buffalo. No, we were up in that area with the Impurity. I don't know if you know that band, the Impurity. We were touring around with them a little bit.
Yeah, New York State was one of the fucking crazy places, man. I mean, we went from, all the regulations, everything like that. Then it was like a month or two ago, they just said, COVID's over, bitch. No more masks, no more nothing. Everything's open. Go do what you got to do.
That's crazy. Yeah. I did a lot of traveling in between, and there were sometimes we went from one state where really didn't care about the masks, and then crossed up the state line, and suddenly you walk in and they're like, get out of here, you don't have a mask on.
Right.
Sometimes we didn't even know what state we were in because the borders sometimes are so close and everything. And you're like, wait, we just walked into this place without any issues now. So it all depends on where you are, Although it does seem like right now, generally, it's pretty open, right? It seems.
Well, that's a good thing, I mean, it's about time people realize this, did you get COVID at all during this time?
No, I mean, I got sick once or twice and got tested. And there's at one point they sent me to the emergency room thinking I had it. I got tested, and then they kicked me out saying, nope, go home. You're just sick. You just have like a seasonal thing. But no, I never tested positive for it.
Yeah, I got it twice. I mean, I'm one of those dudes that was fucking fully masked and, spray myself down with alcohol and shit out of every store I leave. But you get, if you're going to get it, you're going to get it. And
yeah, I know plenty of people. Yeah, they got it. And lots that didn't. And then the whole vaccination thing, is a whole other thing. I mean, crazy time.
Yeah, for sure.
Let's put it that way.
So what's life on the road for you like now, man?
Oh, right now we're doing mostly one-offs. Like we did a 2-week run right at the end of last year, which was cool, with the official band lineup now. Because for a couple of years it was just a studio thing where it was just me, Morgan, Jimmy, and Corey writing stuff and recording stuff. And now we have a full band. So that 2-week run was really our kind of test to see if we all could get along. We had an RV and a trailer, and 6 guys in small space for 2 weeks in a row. My dog is deciding to talk, by the way, right now. He's like, oh, you're doing something. I might as well lay here and just moan.
That's it, man.
He's an old man. He's 12 years old. So,
that's cool. That's a good age for a dog, right?
Yeah, totally. And then, now like with touring again, we're told, right now tours are still kind of weird, and it's hard to get on stuff that's already established. And there's still, I'm sorry. Come on, big guy. Come here. Come on. You want to talk? Come here. he's half deaf. He can hardly walk. But mentally he's still there. And he's my buddy. He's been around me for 12 years now. He's even in a music video with me. Come over here. Anyhow, but we got like all these one-offs, like locally, mostly Maryland and West Virginia, Pennsylvania. Because all the guys live in different places. I'm New York, but then some of the guys are from Bel Air, Maryland. Some of them from far up Pennsylvania, kind of like near like West Virginia area, that region, you know.
Right. So do you have any plans for the for a full tour going on this summer or no?
Well, we're trying. We do have a couple of things that we're trying to get on, but nothing solid yet. You know, there are even talks of like Imagine Records doing their own like Imagine Artist tour, which would be really cool too. But right now we're just keeping our options open. You know, we have lots of people that we're working with and behind the scenes and all that kind of stuff, and really just trying to get the music out there. You know, I mean, want people to hear it, of course. And playing live is awesome. We just played a show last weekend in Allentown, PA. It was a nice packed house, a fairly small place, but an awesome place nonetheless. And just nice to play out and play in support of something new and fresh that we have going on. So we're hoping to get on something, you know, decent for the summertime for sure.
You know? Put the pressure on Morgan and say, "Yo, man, what the fuck?"
Oh yeah, totally. Yeah, it's one of those funny things. It's like you try not to take advantage of your relationships and friendships and everything, but every so often I'm like, Morgan, I just saw the new tour. Like, come on, man, get me on it. But I also don't want to. And I know he's got plenty of other artists and bands and stuff that he works with. So, and he's my buddy, you know, and I never want him to think, you know, anything. But every so often, like, come on, man, get me on just to. And he's hooked us up a few times over the years, plenty of times over the years. I mean, but same time, you know, it's balancing that friendship and professional relationship, and also fan. I was a fan of Seven Dust before I ever knew any of the guys, and before I ever started working with Morgan. I was a big Seven Dust fan. You know, I saw them plenty of times over the years. So it's kind of cool now to know them on a different level and to call Morgan, you know, a good friend. I mean, he was there for me in so many different ways, especially when my mom passed away. So he's a great dude. So to be working with him and be on his label and everything is pretty awesome, you know.
You know, he could probably put on his own traveling festival now with all the bands he's worked.
Oh yes, indeed. Like anybody want to Google all the bands he's worked with or working with or gonna work with. He's a workhorse though. He doesn't sit still. If Seven Dust isn't doing something, he's got to do something, and I love that about him. And that's why, you know, a few times over the years, you're like, hey, you free? I'm free for the next like month. You want to do something? Like, shit, yeah, let's do something, you know. And it's cool like that, you know, if you can make it happen, you know. And it's fun, you know, it's rock and roll.
Yeah, for sure, man. Now, how the crowd's been reacting to the music and stuff when you've been doing these shows?
So far, so good. I mean, the cool thing about last week in PA is seeing a whole bunch of people wearing their T-shirts. That's always nice to see, you know. And it was a whole day of bands, so it started at noon, and we didn't go on until like midnight. So to see people still hanging out and having our colors on, you know, like for a band playing live, it's really cool. And everybody's kind of got, at least in that area, that particular show, everybody was very, you know, still being conscious of not, you know, making out with strangers, but everybody's over being afraid to, you know, give a friendly hug or something like that. If you know, people and whatnot, you know, take a picture and all that kind of stuff. So people seem to be like hungry for live music. So that's a good thing, you know.
You know, like I said, I went to that first show and people seem to appreciate music more now. You know what I mean? I can remember going to a concert a couple of years ago and not giving a fuck. I mean, I'm glad I was there, but you know what I mean? I'd still whip out my phone if it was like something that I've heard this song or this is new music or whatever. I'm like, yeah.
No, it's funny you say that. I agree with you. I was actually thinking similarly earlier. Like, you know, I have been to those shows where you look out and all you see is cell phones up. You know, and it is I don't remember the date. I do remember the first time I looked up and saw nothing but cell phones. Like, wow, that's a weird like sight to see from stage. Just, you know, that up in the air. You know, it is strange, but it's the reality now. But I have noticed more and more people like kind of not doing that and actually sitting there and enjoying the show a little bit and actually like, yeah, taking it in a little more. Not saying anything against anybody who likes to, you know, videotape. Hey, that's how we get to see the videos. I go back after a show and see who posted it to see how bad I messed up the lyrics or something. You know what I'm saying? So it's the world we live in right now. And, you know, you need people posting stuff, you know, even if you performed terribly.
You know, what's funny is, I mean, a lot of people that used to bitch about the cell phones being held up and stuff like that. I mean, it's because the quality was so shit. You know, I mean, like a few years ago, you're recording and it's just like, you can't hear shit. It's all fucking pixelated, and
Yeah,
now these people are making fucking movies off of cell phones. Little, you know what I mean? They can do
that
some
is
good
true.
work.
Yeah, yeah. No, you're right. That is very true. I mean, some of the videos that come out, yeah, or the pictures. I steal pictures from fans all the time because I start to see something that looks professional. You're like, wow, that was caught with an iPhone up in the air in the middle of the show. That's crazy, you know.
Yeah. So I mean, you know, I think with technology adapting, more people are going to be opening up to saying, "Oh, what the fuck," you know?
Totally. Well, like, I mean, you gotta, unless you're, Tool, if you have that kind of status, you could say no phones at our show type of thing. But if you're not Tool, it's really hard to not embrace the technology. You kind of have to, and you don't want to piss people off too. This is what people like to do. I mean, you know, it's part, it's the world we live in right now. Embrace it. You gotta,
Yeah, for sure.
Right? I mean, make noise too at the same time. Complain about everything. Who cares? Fuck everybody.
You know, I always got a kick out of the bands that said no phones, no photos, no nothing. It's just like, man, what the fuck? You know what I mean? Especially in this time, like, if you're told you can't have your phone in your hand, you know, I mean, it's going to drive you insane because most people are just hooked up to that shit regardless, you know?
Yeah, it's like your security blanket. You're used to having it. You're used to looking at it, even just to check the time. You're used to being able to. So yeah, I could see that being weird for a person to not have their phone on them. I mean, yeah.
You know, I remember going to a show a few years ago when they started using those little bags to, you know, you had to lock your phone in when you got, you know.
Yeah.
First thing I did is, like, before I went to the show, is like Google, like, what do I got to do to open up this bag? Just, you know. It's a magnet, people, if you're wondering. You just got to have a small magnet.
Just a small magnet.
Right open.
That's funny. You're gonna find ways. I mean, people are gonna find a way. I mean, it's funny stuff though. Doesn't bother me. I'll be honest. Like, it's me, but again, I'm on a different level than some other artists. Like, I'm in a limbo kind of state where the more you share, the better it is for me.
Yeah,
so,
right. For
so
sure.
I don't mind. Yeah. So, post all you want, share on Instagram, and I don't even know what the hot social media sites are these days anymore. So Facebook and Instagram is pretty much what I do. Even my Twitter account, I have to go to like once a month just to make sure it's still. But I don't do Twitter or Snapchat or I don't know what's the hot ones.
Yeah, man, I'm the same here. I mean, you know you're supposed to, but it's just so hard to keep up with the shit.
Oh yeah, I mean, I have a notebook full of like all the different accounts and passwords and everything, and I'll open it in the morning and be like, yeah, no, no, I'd rather play my guitar than spend an hour on social media. I'd rather spend the hour doing something productive or, hanging out with my dogs.
You know what it is too? Like when a new one comes out, I'll try and focus on figuring out whatever that. I mean, I'm totally bad at it just because it's just like, what the fuck? How am I supposed to make this thing work? Like, like what you said, like with Twitter, you only do so many words and that goes out there and you're like, people fucking like this, I mean, I'll stick with Facebook because it's something I know because I'll fuck with that.
Yeah.
When it's not my page, my personal thing, I'll play around. And where else can you go see everyone's misery?
Yeah, right.
The shit people share on there.
I get it. I think it was your page that when you like it, Facebook goes, are you sure you want to like this page because they violate a lot of community standards or something like that? I don't know if you know that. And it says they violate a lot of community standards. You still want to like this page? I was like, hell yeah, now I want to like it twice.
Yeah, geez, I did not know that's what they said, I mean, I've been kicked out there a few times, so what can you do,
I got plenty of friends that are like, where have you been? Facebook jail, Like, well, you did post some crazy stuff.
It's part of the fun, I mean,
exactly. Yeah, exactly.
So after this, man, you got the album out. What's next for you? What are you guys planning on doing?
Well, we have a whole other EP ready to go, more or less, with some fine tuning. Now with the new guys, we'd like to revisit the songs and update some of the music. These songs, if they change shape so many times, I can only imagine what the next batch is going to turn into, especially having new blood and everything. So playing as much as possible and then having something ready to come out. Hopefully, if not by the end of the year, then next year, early next year, have another one. I mean, just keep doing it. This is what we do. I still have like that uncle that'll be like, when are you going to stop this music bullshit? Like, what do you mean stop it? I mean, there's no stopping now, especially like It's over for me. I mean, this is it. This is life, like it or not. And it's one of those things where it's like, hey, whatever's next is next. I don't know, other than just keep rocking with this and seeing where this goes. I've been in so many projects over the years and I love them all. And there's still some that are still active, but this is the current thing that's, fresh and new. And I'm really loving the people that I've already been meeting through it. It's pretty cool. And I'm liking to see where we could fit on these festivals and tours going on, because we do have like a nice heavy edge, but also we could fit in with different genres, so open to anything really right now.
So that's one thing I want to talk to you about then. I mean, for someone who's been in the music industry for years and had a bunch of different projects, to finally being on the level of success that you're on now and knowing there's potential to fucking go big, what does that feel like?
Oh man, it's wild. It's all I think about, honestly. So it just feels so, it's like, it's a weight relieved of years of like, when are we going to do this? And now here it is. And regardless of how it does in terms of charts and in terms of, album sales and everything, it's a success for me already, just because it's something that is just real for me and true and passionate for me. And I did it with close friends and everything, and in really cool places, and met some awesome people through it. So it's something that nobody could ever take away from me, and you can't show on paper. It's just, and hopefully will fuel future endeavors. And, I still have plenty to do. And I feel like it's, years of all this working up to where I am right now. I love it. I really do. Hope I could just keep doing it and keep up. I'm not getting any younger.
Now, when you're getting all this attention, you notice it's coming from all these other states and all this other places. I mean, that's got to be a pretty cool feeling.
Oh yeah, and I've always loved traveling anyway, and I love seeing the crossover fans. I've been in a couple of projects that some people do know me from or know me through a person or whatever. So having seen these names pop up that are now fans of the LENNE band is really awesome. Really makes you feel good that it's a real friendship, the tight knit community of musicians and fans of music and everything. I love it. It's really cool. I mean, it's my family. My personal life has been weird for forever, but for the last decade in particular. And my dog wants to sing to us again. I don't know if you could hear.
Yeah, he just popped his head up.
Like, pay attention to me, man. Hey. So it's really cool. And working with guys like Morgan, I mean, having him invite me over to his house, and when he knew I was going through some real crazy stuff, and knew I was writing music at the same time, he has this talent to pull shit out of me that, I mean, can't tell you how many times he's made me cry in the studio because he's brutal. He won't let you walk out of that room without digging as deep as you can possibly dig. So it's crazy like that. But it's therapeutic. It's definitely therapeutic.
So you're talking about with the insults that he gives his artists?
Yeah. Oh man, there's one time, I'll tell a quick little story. I just had a friggin' hernia operation, like literally 2 days before I'm in the studio. So I still have the hospital bracelet on my wrist, and he's knelt down. And I keep hitting this one note, and he goes like, "Hit that note one more time, and I'm gonna sack slap you." And I'm like, "You do that, I'm going to die." Like literally, please. I said, please don't. I hit the note perfectly after that. Trust me. He's like, "That's what I thought, boy."
There you go.
He's awesome. No, he's a trip. If anybody knows him personally, he's an awesome guy. Besides an incredible drummer and musician in general, songwriter, producer.
So if people are watching this, they want to follow up, they want to get the new album, they want to check out those tour dates that we've been talking about. Where do they go? What are they going to do for everything?
Well, we're most active on Facebook and Instagram, but you could get everything on all the outlets, iTunes, Spotify. If you want to listen to it for free, go to Spotify. We don't mind. We like seeing those numbers go up. That helps us plenty. So that's another thing too. We don't mind if you listen for free. It's okay with us, but if you want to buy it, it's only, I think, actually $4 for the 5 songs, right? 5 songs. Yeah, I think it's $4 for 5 songs. Not too shabby, So if you do have $4 and you want to do that, that's cool. But if you go to our Facebook or Instagram, the links are there. You click on it, and all the different ways that you could get the music. Yeah, just checking it out means a lot to us. And let us know what you think. I'm more active on Facebook. I'm like that older guy that still just does the Facebook, right? And Instagram too. But that's just like a partner to Facebook, right? But I'm trying to open my horizons. But otherwise, you could always get me on there.
Perfect. All right, man. It was a pleasure speaking with you. I love the
You as
new
well.
album, and I can't wait to see what's next from you guys.
Thank you. Pleasure talking with you.
I man, take care of yourself.
You as well.